The Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, has, for the first time in the history of naval warfare, struck a submarine in Russia's Novorossiysk port in the Black Sea. For the first time in naval warfare, Sea-Baby underwater drones blew up a Russian Project 636.3 Varshavyenka-class submarine in Russia's southern Krasnodar region. Video footage capturing the moment of the strikes has been released in social media. As a result of the explosion, the submarine sustained critical damage and was effectively put out of operation. The submarine was carrying 4 launchers for Caliber cruise missiles, which Russia troops used to strike Ukrainian territory. The operation was conducted jointly by the 13th Main Directorate of the SBU's Military Counterintelligence and the Naval Forces of Ukraine. The cost of a Varshavyenka-class submarine is estimated at around $400 million. Given the international sanctions in place, building a similar submarine could now cost up to $500 million. Earlier, the security service said it struck Russia's Korchagin oil platform in the Caspian Sea, in what became the third attack on a Russian platform in the region over the past week. Last week, Ukraine's security service hit Filanovsky field, one of Russia's largest in the Caspian Sea, with proven reserves of 129 million tons of oil and 30 billion cubic meters of gas. Ukraine's security service says the strikes on Russian oil platforms and other military infrastructure are aimed at cutting Russia's funding for its war of invasion in Ukraine and undermining Moscow's war efforts. Ukraine's security service, known as SBU, has struck Russia's oil production platforms in the Caspian Sea for the third time over the past week. Long-range drones of the SBU's Alpha Special Operations Center targeted operating oil production platforms belonging to Lukoil Nizhnovolskneft in the Caspian Sea. This time, the platform at the Korchagin oil and gas condensate field was struck. As a result of the SBU drone attack, critically important equipment at the facility was damaged, and production processes were halted. This was the second Ukrainian drone attack on Korchagin platform. Ukraine's security service framed the attack as the continuation of operations that reduced the inflow of petrodollars into Russia's budget and, accordingly, its ability to finance the war against Ukraine. No Russian facility working for the war is safe, regardless of its location, an informed source within the SBU said. It should be recalled that Ukraine's security services drones hit the Filanovsky and Korchagin oil production platforms on December 11 and 12. The Filanovsky field is one of the largest discovered in Russia and in the Russian sector of the Caspian Sea. Its reserves amount to 129 million tons of oil and 30 billion cubic meters of gas. In recent months, Ukraine has scaled up long-range missile and drone strikes on Russia's strategic energy facilities in an attempt to undermine the Kremlin's war efforts.
Ukraine fundamentally needs to have its own ballistics to avoid dependence on the political decisions of its partners, said Firepoint's chief designer Denis Stillerman in a comment to BBC Ukraine. Stillerman noted that the company intends to complete all formal procedures for integrating the new Ukrainian FP7 ballistic missile into service by the end of this year. He added that the FP7 is being developed as a high-speed missile that should match the performance of the S-400 class systems. The missile is being developed as a high-speed system designed to penetrate Russian S-400 missile systems, including the layered defenses around Moscow. The developers emphasize that the FP7 is a weapon whose use will not be politically dependent on partners. For example, the use of ATACMS or Storm Shadow requires separate approvals from international allies. According to the company's chief designer, the FP7 missile will have a supersonic target entry speed of over 1,200 meters per second. This capability, coupled with the use of composite materials, will make it unlikely to be intercepted by Russian air defenses. Stilleman shared that the project has already completed all key stages. The company independently recreated the design of one of the S-300/S-400 missile modules, manufactured the drives, and developed its own engine. In other words, the company has effectively created a fully functional missile. It is reported that the FP7 missile is currently undergoing codification at specialized scientific institutions of the Ministry of Defense. It is noted that if the government decides to order the missile, the company is expected to begin serial production as early as spring 2026. It is anticipated that hundreds of such ballistic missiles will be produced monthly. The company's technical director, Irina Terek, noted that Ukraine is now capable of deploying FP drones in the hundreds. However, she added that while the company hasn't yet reached the capacity for thousands of launches, the maximum it can launch is around 300 FP1 drones per day. Media previously reported that the Ukrainian military has developed several tactics for using drones on the front line against Russian infantry. Specifically, drones equipped with speakers are being used on the battlefield to create a false impression for the Russians. For example, this could involve playing the sounds of military equipment, which would entice Russia to launch reconnaissance drones. Ukraine also has ground drones that hide along the approach routes of Russian troops and scan the road for any vehicles. Media also reported that Ukraine's ambassador to Poland, Vasyl Bodnar, stated that Poland could receive Ukrainian drones in exchange for the transfer of MiG-29 fighter jets to Ukraine. Bodnar explained that this refers to modern drone equipment, which has proven itself effective and could strengthen Poland's defense capabilities. However, the Ukrainian ambassador did not provide further details about the Polish aircraft deliveries to our country. He explained that the enemy is also monitoring such statements, so further details could harm cooperation between Ukraine and Poland.